Well, the Finance Committee came up with a tax package that raises taxes by about $1.8 billion, which is a pretty hefty tax increase, similar to the one we saw 4 years ago. And it's one that is going to, I think, put a pretty big brake on the economy of the state of Connecticut and cause a lot of disruptions and dislocations. And I think that that's beyond any disagreements we might have or agreements we might have about the spending side. The tax package is going to be a very big problem.
Your preference on the Republican side is to seek some wage concessions from the unionized state employees. Is that correct?
That's right.
But what if you don't get that? Then how can we go forward anticipating that we might get it, and then if we don't, then what?
Well, I think we have to get some concessions from the employees in this situation. We're facing a very substantial budget deficit. We're facing several years of budget deficits, and this is not a problem that's going to go away. This isn't just a mere cash flow problem. This is a very serious structural problem with our government and how much money we spend and what our tax structure is capable of producing on a sustained basis. So we really do need to, in effect, right-size the cost of fundamental services that the government provides. I mean, and a big piece of that is the wages that employees of the state get. Well, I think that the idea of doing something with the car tax is a good idea. I've been proposing abolishing the car tax for about 10 years. And at times we actually had the governor, then Governor Rell, in support of doing that, and we had support from Speaker Sharkey for doing something fairly significant on it. I unfortunately don't know that this is going to end up being a real solution in terms of taking money from the sales tax, which, since the state is already short of money, we're facing a shortage of cash flow. So taking pieces of the sales tax and redistributing in this way, I'm not sure that that's really the answer to the problem of the car tax across the state of Connecticut. I think that our bigger problems relate to the taxes we have, for example, that are in this package, such as taxes on accounting services, computer services, veterinarian visits. I mean, it taxes an awful lot of things that very large numbers of middle and lower income Connecticut residents have to use. And I think that the piece about the car tax is, it's nice that we're talking about that finally, seriously, but I think that that's not really the big problem that the people of the state of Connecticut are facing.
And the sales tax proposal, lowering the rate, but spreading it out to more things, that obviously is probably a concern of yours, a big
Absolutely.
concern.
You know, you can lower the rate, but if you expand the sales tax to cover a whole host of things that were not previously covered, such as accounting services, for example, we're going to raise taxes on people so they have to pay more income taxes, and then we're going to tax them on going to see the accountant in order to figure out how to pay those income taxes. That's just sort of one example where it's almost a kind of, it's not a joke, but it seems like it's throwing salt into the wound.
Yeah.
And we're doing these kinds of things as an effort to gather more money. So you lower the rate, which a lot of times makes sense to lower a tax rate. You might get more money from doing that, but we're so much expanding the base that I wonder, for example, in terms of computer operations, some of the things are going to move out of the state of Connecticut to other states that don't tax those kinds of things. And we live in a society now where a couple of mouse clicks and you can move anything and everything out of the area.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
There's broad agreement that there were a lot of things that the governor put into his package, reductions, cuts, whatever you want to call them, and that they were not ever going to see the light of day. They were non-starters. I think that was one person's comment on it, and I think we all agree that the governor's budget didn't really go where we needed to go.